Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode, right? The fourth episode of the podcast, The Talking Horse.
Yeah, well, welcome. This is our fourth episode of the Talking Horse podcast. And today we have a new guest. We have Gustavo, who is currently living in France since you said 14 years.
2012, 2012, so it's almost 12 years already.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Okay, yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, actually, as you said, my name is Gustavo. I'm from Toluca, and I arrived here in France, specifically to Paris, when I was 21 or 22 years. So I arrived here for doing my studies. And but at the very beginning, I said that I was going to be here only 1 year, but hey, it's been 12 years already.
Yeah, like time flies, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect, perfect. It's a total pleasure having you here.
Thanks.
Today's episode, it's going to be like we're going to talk about the process of getting used to being in another country, in a foreign country, specifically France. Would you tell us, please, how was the process of you leaving Toluca and getting, I don't know, what was the plan of you going to France?
Yeah, at the very beginning, I wasn't really sure to come here to France, because I was finishing my studies there in Mexico, and I saw an opportunity to come here and to study a master. So I applied. I had I had not really much expectation to be accepted, but however I applied, and at the end I was accepted. So I arrived here, and as I said, my studies were only to be were supposed to be a master of 1 year, 1 year and a half, and my plan was going back to Mexico. Nevertheless, after that, I had an opportunity to continue with a PhD, and after that, I got a job. So I've been working since, and that's like how I came here and why I stayed here. And after that, I don't know. Now I I have a baby. I had a baby like 3 months ago, so I'm
Congratulations.
staying here. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you have like
Alive
yeah.
there right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's already my life. It's already here. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
staying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And before all of this process of, I don't know, traveling and starting living in a country such as France, for example, when you were a kid or while you were kind of studying the career, have you ever dreamed with living in a place such as France?
No, no, not France. But I will dare to say like most of Mexicans we have like the American dream,
Yeah.
and yes, it was mine also. I wanted to go to the States to study in the States, to live in the States maybe, and after that go back to Mexico. And France, it was only for make some tourism, but not for making a life when I was a kid. When I was a kid, after that I arrived here, I start to know the culture, the people. So that changed my mind. It was like, okay, it's a nice place. They have nice food. The weather is it's quite nice. Also, Paris, it's a really beautiful city. So it was really charming.
Okay, what did you study here in Mexico?
I studied civil engineer. Yes,
Okay,
engineering. So
You're in the faculty, right?
yeah.
Okay, and you said you like all of this process of moving to France. It was for a PhD, right?
At the very beginning, it was for a master. After,
Oh, okay.
when I finished my master here, I found a PhD, so I continue with that.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it sounds very very interesting, but now I have a question.
Yeah.
How would you describe like this process of yeah, getting used to living in France, maybe adapting to other food, to other, I don't know, to other getaways, to other things to do? How was it?
The the first month it was quite difficult because when I arrived here, I was living with a French family for it was supposed to be 1 month, but at the end, because I was late, I came late here. I lived maybe 2 weeks, and it was quite difficult because at that time I didn't know to say almost anything in French. I knew how to say good morning and thank you, and that was it. But after that, I moved to a place that is called it's called in French cité université. That it's like are some buildings where only students live, and you have students from almost every single part of the world, and every single student is living the same thing as you. They they left their country, their city, their families, and they are here. They are studying. They are for most of them,
Struggling with the
it's
language,
the
maybe.
first time that they came to Europe also, and it was really pleasant to be there. Yes, because everything is new for them, everything is new for you. You are knowing also some French people who are young, who are open-minded. It was really cool to live there.
Okay, so you say like maybe it was comforting to know that you weren't living that all by yourself,
Yeah,
right?
like a
Yeah,
stranger in this context, right?
yeah. It was like having many roommates. It's not
Yeah.
exactly that you are not living by your own. You are living by your own, but there are some others uh, near you that are living the exact same thing. So you are supporting each other. You are making good friends. Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, the best 4 years of my student life.
Okay, perfect. And what how was school? Like I mean, did your classes were in Spanish, in English, sorry, were they in French?
That's a tough question. Actually, yes, they were in French, and as I said, I did not know French at that time. I had some courses, but they were not enough. So most of the lectures I had, they were in French, and they were really difficult. I had the advantage that okay, it was in engineering, so mathematics are the same in every single country, so that was the advantage. But for example, sometimes I remember for the exams uh, with the other foreigns, at the end of the exam, the question was like, "Did you understand the subject?" And we laughed all together, like, "No, I didn't." Yeah,
Okay.
that was the hard part to the language.
Okay, okay. Well, here in the case of in Mexico, the faculty, there's a lot of students who share that goal of making a living in another country. What would you say that in your case was the master key of I don't know, to making it possible?
Yeah, I think it was to apply at a good moment, and also I could say that I had good grades. Yes, I think
Mhm.
those two were the keys.
Okay. Excuse me. What was your average? Do you remember here while you were studying
Studying.
civil engineering?
Yes, I think at the end it was like 8.5 or 8.7.
Okay, that's a very good average, right?
Yeah, considering that it's an engineering career, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
because
Yeah,
uh,
go ahead.
yeah, sorry. I think the minimum for having a scholarship it's around 8. So you have two options. So you can apply for a scholarship that in my case was necessary because my school here it was really expensive, or you can pay by yourself. It depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, I also have a question that maybe a lot of people here in the faculty are asking themselves. How is the process, or how difficult is for you to get a scholarship? Because I know like grades are a very important part, but it's not all of it, right?
No, it's not all of it. It depends exactly where the scholarship comes from. In my case, it came for the master. It came from it's called Consorcio Mexicano de Universidades, and they were asked me they were asking me only to get accepted into a university here. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
only
That was
the thing that
the
they
only
asked.
thing. Yeah, the only thing that you were required, right?
Yeah, but obviously the university here, it's not exactly a university here. They have a difference between university and like I will say the equivalent to the tecnológicos in Mexico. But
Okay.
okay, so they saw my CV. They made I think we had 2 or 3 interviews, and they asked me also for my grades. At that time, I think the interview was, I'm not sure if it was in English or in Spanish, but nevertheless, they told me that, okay, we need to ask you if you would like to learn French, if you if you think that you can learn French because the lectures are going to be in French. And I said, oh, yes, yes, okay, no problem. Spanish and French are really close one
Okay.
another.
Yeah. So they wanted to know if you were willing to do this sacrifice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's not only when you're talking about I think an English speaking country is like way more easy to like make a living of it. But yeah, maybe another language country would be more difficult, right?
It depends because also I would like to make a point on that. For example, for applying to a scholarship from CONACYT, at that time they were asking you to first speak the language of the country you are studying.
Okay.
Uh, Even though your studies are in English, they asked you for the language of the country plus English. So they asked you to speak 3 languages fluently. So that
Okay.
was also hard.
Okay. Okay. So now, how did you learn English? Did you I don't know, because I know that here in the faculty
You took a couple.
we take
Yeah.
English lessons, but
Yeah.
did you ever had like English lessons before?
Yes, I started as I think many of you with the lectures in the secondary school.
Okay.
After that, in the I don't remember how to say preparatoria
Okay.
in the
Yeah,
yeah
preparatory, I
in
think.
the high school.
High
Thank you.
school, yeah.
And after that, I took some lessons in the Harmon Hall. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, and after that, I continue in the university.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you had a little more background, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And right now
I think
you,
it was practiced in the Harmon Hall, and also since maybe I was 15, I started to watch some movies in English and TV shows in English. For example, I don't know, I really like SpongeBob, and I played SpongeBob but in English when I was
Okay.
20. Yeah, so
yeah, there's a lot of help actually, because
yeah, actually,
that's something I can see. You can learn something, maybe it's you're struggling with, for example, I don't know, the grammar or the vocabulary or something like that when you are in the classroom, but sometimes it's necessary to have a kind of a cultural immersion, right? A cultural interaction, maybe.
yeah, 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 I
Yeah.
think so also.
Yeah, because well, I've known how to speak English ever since I was a little kid. But I think yeah, the most important part, and what I think helped and improved a lot of my English was yeah, as you say, practice, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think it is the main part of learning something, because okay, maybe I say that, for example, today I can speak French fluently, but if I stop uh, 2, 3, 4 years, for sure I'm going to start
Struggling.
to I don't know, to think more, to
Forget
try,
something.
yeah, every single word.
Yeah, like you would start struggling with
Yeah,
the
it will
language.
fade away.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and how did you learn French? When you got to France, did you take lessons? Did you
Did you
like
find it more
practice?
difficult than English, for example, now that you were in France?
Yeah, well, okay. For the first question, yes, at the university we had some some classes of French. All foreigners we had them. That was mandatory. Um, I don't know if it was more complicated than English, because English, I think it was in my life since I was a child, because okay, we live nearby the states, so we have some movies, we have some I don't know, some publicity in English already, but French was totally new for me. Yeah, and I don't know, for French, I was struggling even for going to supermarket, or to ask something in on the street. Yeah, so it was the difficult part. Yeah.
And
For example, wait, a minute for, for a story that I have. For example, once I went to the supermarket, and the cashier asked me if I had it was like this in French, a blue card to pay with,
Okay.
okay.
and it was color blue and a card, a, a credit card, and I say no, mine is gray. And he told me,
Okay.
is that blue? And I showed him, no, it's gray. But is that a blue card? And I said, no, it's gray. Look, it's
Uh-huh.
gray. Some days after that, I found out that it's a phrase, blue card means credit card. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
so
Yeah.
she was asking me if it was credit or debit, and I was,
Okay,
no,
yeah.
it's gray.
Okay. Okay, yeah. A little confusion, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
do they have a, for example, what's the name of, in the case of credit card, it's blue card, right? In the case of a debit card, is it yellow card? Does it have
No,
any
it's
name?
weird because it's actually they ask you for a blue card when you are foreign, because here in France they do not have difference in between credit and debit. It works
Okay.
in
Okay.
both ways. So if you are foreign,
Okay.
they are gonna ask you for that.
Okay. Okay, so now, since you are in Europe, I have another question that maybe a lot of people are asking themselves. How is the traveling stuff? Like, is it easy? Because I mean, I've never been to Europe, but I've always heard that being in Europe, it's easier to travel, right?
It depends on your status and your nationality. Because, for example, here when you arrive to France, you have a visa, so you can go to the European Union. So,
Okay.
but for example, there's a difference between the countries that that are in the European Union and the countries that are in the Schengen space. Wait a minute. In the and it no, it's on contrary. You can go to all the countries that are in the Schengen space, but some of the countries that are not in the Schengen space, even though they are in the European Union, may ask you for a visa. That's not the
Oh,
case
okay.
for Mexicans. Yeah, that's good for us because we can go to almost every single country here in Europe
Okay.
without visa.
Okay. And living in Europe, is it expensive? Like,
Yeah,
do you?
it's it depends on the city,
Okay.
but I think in Europe, the most expensive cities it should be
German.
London and Paris.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe Zurich.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
that's Germany, right?
yeah. So yeah, it's really expensive. But here in France, I think only big cities are quite expensive. Paris, Lyon, yeah, they are expensive. But
Okay.
if you go to the countryside, it's not that expensive. If you compare, for example, going to Cancun or going to a French countryside, I think Cancun it's gonna be way more expensive.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Do you have another question?
Yes, there in the European Union, you have the possibility of traveling, and I don't know, maybe during a holidays or something like that, any kind of vacation, you can travel to any country that you want that is close. What would you say was your favorite, I don't know, cities, countries, having the possibility of going there?
I think, as you were talking, I think it's London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's London because at the time I went last year for my birthday, and it was like, okay, you wake up in Paris at maybe, I don't know, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, you take the metro to the train
Yeah, with
station,
the train,
maybe
right?
15 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, you take the metro to the train station, and there you have the high velocity train, and you are in, I think, 2 hours. So before 12 o'clock, you are in London, and London it's great. It's really great, but yeah, it's expensive. I think, for example, in every single city that I go, I try to buy a beer at a bar because
Okay.
with with that
Yeah,
I
it's a
can approach
comparison,
the
right?
price. Yeah, the price of living. For example, here in Paris, you can have a pint of beer at a bar at around maybe between 9 to 12 euros. And
Okay.
in London, the cheapest I had it was 14.
Oh,
And
okay.
pounds, right?
Yeah, no, it was the conversion into 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 euros. So in pounds, I don't remember if it was cheaper. It was around 30, 13 pounds.
14, yeah, around them.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And in Paris, do you rent? How difficult do you think it is to own a place?
Mm, to own a place now, it's being quite it's becoming quite difficult, especially in Paris, because uh, for instance, I also own my it's an apartment. I bought it last year, and
Okay.
it was difficult, yes, because you need to have obviously a good salary. It depends on the zone you are looking for also,
Yeah.
and you need a credit from the bank.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and now the credits are becoming more expensive this year, so
Yeah. Yeah. I
it's
get
getting more difficult and more difficult. For example, last year I took a tour, and they told us that in the center of Paris, it's like a record, a Guinness record of the most expensive apartment. That it was
okay.
bought some years ago uh, from a family of Picasso, from a family of Picasso, and it
Oh,
was
okay.
the square meter. It was around like 120,000 euros. The
Oh,
square meter,
okay.
yeah. But
Oof.
it was a price insane. I don't remember exactly the cost, but it was insane only for a square meter. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's obviously not a small house. It's quite a mansion.
Okay. And also, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a hobby? Do you like have something you like to do on your free time? Like yeah, something you do in Paris?
For example, here a French thing to do is to go to make a picnic. And
Okay.
yes, it's not exactly a hobby, but it's like a French thing to do. It depends
And
on
it's
the
very
weather.
common, right?
Yeah,
Out
yeah,
of the
yeah.
museum, all of that.
And, yeah, normally you have many parks, beautiful parks, by the way. And for example, in front of the Eiffel Tower, you have
Okay.
Yeah.
a small park. It's called I don't remember exactly what it's called, but the Champ Mars. And
Okay.
if you go a day in June, July, it's gonna be full of people, but
Yeah, it's so crowded.
until midnight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
Yeah.
they are
How
eating and they are
how
taking a beer. Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Like, right.
would you say like Paris is a night city? Like, do you think yeah, people get to
Used
do
to,
things
yeah.
late at night?
No, not that really. It depends. For example, if from Monday to Thursday, no. From Monday to Thursday after 10 p.m., the city is like death. You have
Okay.
nothing to do. On weekends, maybe you have some bars, you have some discos to go, but no, it's not that really a night city.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I asked this because I've heard Madrid is a night city, you know,
yeah.
like stores and restaurants and stuff are like opened up until late at night. So yeah, that's why I asked
But
this.
that's cultural, I think, because I don't know a lot of Spanish culture. But for example, I only went to Madrid and to Barcelona once, to each one, and
Okay.
they tend to eat really late. For example, the dinner starts at 10 or even 11 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why you have restaurants open that night.
Oh, okay.
But here in France,
They're
it's
also eat at
around
college.
yeah. Here in France, it's about 18 hours. So you're eating around 18 hours, 20 hours if it was too late.
Oh, okay.
A little bit more like here in the case of Mexico, right? In
Yeah,
Mexico,
yeah, I
that's,
think so.
yeah.
Yeah, like we go to bed like early.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I think we could end here. If you have I don't know, maybe something you would like to add, something some
Any
uh,
topic that you maybe you have still or want to share with us, right now the microphone is yours.
Okay. For example, if you have if you know someone who wants to pursue a life here in Europe or in France, I think I would say that okay, go ahead, because this is a country plenty of full of opportunities, and with nice people, with, as I said, with nice weather, with delicious food. I think it's a great
The
country
food,
to
that's the thing
live
that
in.
we, yeah, the food, yeah.
yeah, I think a very important part of like getting to go to another country, it's food, right? Did you
Yeah,
how was the change of Mexican to French food?
it was not difficult. It was not that difficult, I think, because since I was a kid, I really like to eat, to try new stuff. So it was everything new, everything new. But however, quite it was it was new, but not. It was new, but not alien stuff. It was like,
Okay.
okay, in Mexico we have bread, but I want to tell you that the bread in France is way better. We have cheese in Mexico, and here we have different kind of cheese. They are
Mhm.
both equally good, I say.
Okay.
And we have also some typical food in Mexico that we eat here in France, but in a different manner.
Yeah, exactly. Like this, like maybe the original way of making and yeah, cooking, no?
The wines, maybe.
Yeah, how's
Yeah,
wine?
wines are delicious. You can find some delicious wines and really cheap.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, because it's very common, right? So it's cheap.
Yeah, yeah. For example, at this time I do not do that, but maybe 2 or 3 years ago I was maybe consuming at least one glass of wine every two nights
Okay,
with my plate. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
and that's
At,
common.
at dinner, you
Yeah,
mean, or
yeah,
like
yeah.
really?
You're
Well,
dining
you're,
and
yeah.
you open a bottle of wine, not to finish it, but only to to to,
To
to,
enjoy it,
to
right?
take a sip. Yeah, to
Yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect, Gus. So it's been a complete pleasure. I think this is a very rich
Interesting. Yeah.
information episode. Yeah, it's very interesting as well. And yeah, it was a complete pleasure.
Thank you. The
Yeah,
pleasure was mine.
I'm sorry because the time is so limited, but there's a lot of topics that we could ask you, and it could be very interesting.
But
But
it
thank you
it
very
would
much.
be we
Yeah,
could we could maybe
repeat the podcast.
yeah, exactly, we could maybe do another episode, I don't know, in maybe a couple of days. Yeah, so it was a complete pleasure. Thank you for your time, thank you for sharing
Thanks to you.
like all of this stuff that you've shared with us. And I'm pretty sure this episode will reach the good people, like the indicated people. And yeah, it was perfect. So yeah, thank you. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, I think I've said it all.
And to everybody who's listening to
Thank
this,
you.
don't worry, we're going to have Gustavo very soon. I hope so.
Perfect, guys. So thank you. It was a pleasure.
Welcome. Thanks to you.